feel like I was a bad movie goer because I definitely couldn't stop myself from talking during it. Yeah. The parts that I found really
the physical
challenging,
reaction.
and I had a lot of I had a lot of like moments in it. And I just think that, you know, I think going in, we kind of knew why we were there, but I think the marketing of like, this is a fun rom-com, it just really feels disrespectful to me, actually.
It's not this lighthearted movie that you go with your friends to and you dress in pretty dresses like the Barbie movie.
Yeah.
Like that was a lighthearted fun with a message.
With like such a message.
Such a message, and they did it so well. But this one, I felt like, just my initial reaction, I was kind of taken aback a little bit. It didn't seem like it was a serious topic.
Yeah, it felt like it was a physical violence, episodic experiences, and we know that that's not what most people experience. Most people experience force of control. Most people experience something that is ongoing. They have fear is underlying every day, all the time, to different levels and different extents, and that was not represented at all in this.
One thing that I think the film got, they didn't get it wrong, but they also didn't get it right, is those scenes where, you know, violence or abuse is disclosed to, we call them informal supporters, to the main character's friends. In both of the scenes, one including, you know, who she would call her best friend, there was an ultimatum given where if you take him back, I'll never talk to you again. And the other scene where abuse or violence was disclosed is, you know, that disclosure is responded with more violence against the abuser, and also a demand that, you know, she has to leave him. I think within those two scenes, we can see that, you know, those are very, very, you know, often said to people who are disclosing abuse to informal supporters.
I think we hear that all the time, and there's this gut sort of reaction of like, I'm gonna fix this, I'm gonna solve this, I'm gonna tell you to never speak to that person again, because that's what we think is the right option. And I think that we know that actually that can be really harmful to someone, and that can cause someone, because it's so nuanced, it's not cut and dry, and so that can cause someone who's trying to figure out what they're doing to say, you know what, you're actually not a safe person I can talk to, because if I try to talk to you, you're gonna tell me that now I'm responsible. If I go back, if I stay with this person and something else happens, you're gonna say, I'm gonna lose a friend, because you're gonna say you're responsible, right? And I think that it's really tricky, and so it's interesting because the film didn't get it wrong, but they didn't do the work to get it right. Yeah. And that feels like a disappointment to me, because I think that when we're talking about domestic abuse, you know, we know most people talk to friends and family before they ever call and talk to us, and sometimes they never call and talk to us, but their friends and family might, if they're supported, if they understand the weight and the impact that their response has on the person who's disclosing. So another concern that I had with it, and I don't know if you felt this as well, and I'd love for you to talk maybe about what we see within our client experiences, but I think that the movie set up leaving an abusive relationship as a really simple and easy thing to do. Yeah. And that feels inauthentic, and frankly, like, it could be harmful if somebody is trying to leave and it doesn't go as easily as it is sort of portrayed.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, when we speak to clients and participants, you know, a lot of them who have gone through the process of leaving an abusive relationship, it is not by far smooth sailing at all. From what we hear, the legal system, you know, family systems, those are all things that you have to consider and have to go through, you know, potentially when you leave an abusive relationship, whatever your relationship status is. You know, I think what the film maybe glossed over is that breaking off of the relationship is, I think they mentioned it a little bit, of where the abuser, the person who was using abuse, was, you know, asking for the main character to come back home and this and that. But I think they really glossed over the fear of, you know, stalking or threats against your safety, or showing up at work, showing up at your family's houses. Like, I think that's something that we hear so often, where you know, with the film just glossing over it, it could make it really, like you said, inauthentic to that experience.
And maybe make you feel like you're doing it wrong.
Totally.
If it feels like it's harder.
Yeah.
If it feels like the fear that you had when you were in the relationship continues after the relationship.
Yeah.
Which we know it does. If I was to redo this film, I think I would change, obviously, the way that domestic violence is portrayed.
Right.
I'd want to make sure that the nuance, the experiences of coercive control, that ongoing experience is really highlighted. And I think I would totally get rid of the secondary romance story and just have it be a story about love and how love can be painful and can be harmful and how to process through that and what supports are available. And I would make sure that people know that that's what it's about, and I would make sure that there are resources and information available before the movie, after the movie, when you buy your ticket.
Rating out of 5 stars, what are you saying?
Well, I'm really trying to separate the domestic abuse from the movie, which I don't actually know that you can do, but I didn't enjoy it, and I didn't think that it was well done from a domestic abuse perspective, so I think I'm at a 1.5.
1.5? I might give it 1 decimal point higher. I was gonna say 2 out of 5. I agree. I think just from a movie perspective, wasn't my favorite, and just the messaging and the depiction of domestic abuse and leaving a relationship and informal supporters, I think they could have done a lot better.
Yeah, I might go to 2 actually, only because of the way that they actually showed the whole human beingness of the person who used violence. I think that was my favorite part.
Okay, 2 out of 5 stars, folks.